Welcome to Gems of Knowledge with your host, David Bellman and Justin Kroll. Each week, our experts will answer all of your jewelry questions with Rachel Putney, our social media maven, who will relay your questions to our experts. And now, here's your host, David Bellman.
Hi, I'm David Bellman, and welcome to another episode of Gems of Knowledge. Today we have a special guest. It's Alex Bellman. What a coincidence. He happens to be my son and vice president of Bellman Jewelers. He's in charge of marketing and sales.
That's your son?
Yeah, if you believe it or not. Lovely Rachel and son Alex here today. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. Engagement rings, jewelry repair, things that you really need to know about that's going on in this industry that a lot of people don't know and should know before they make a purchase or before they do any business with a jeweler, so that you'll understand better how the process works and when you're getting a good deal and maybe when you're not. So I think that's a good way to start. What do you think?
Agreed. I think that but some jewelry stores take advantage of the fact that the consumers aren't educated on diamonds or jewelry in general. That's
true. I mean, it's we call a blind item. It's one of the few things left in this country that you buy, and you really have no idea what you're getting unless you do a lot of research and you're in the industry. So, Alex, how do you want to get started? What would you like to talk about first?
Let's talk about my favorite, most frustrating thing that we have at the store, which is branded diamonds.
Okay.
So, one of the most frustrating things that I see on a consistent basis is when customers come in and they start asking about branded diamonds. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult to explain that those branded diamonds are just a way for that store to make an extra 20 or 30%.
Can you explain what a branded diamond is?
Absolutely. So a perfect example is Hearts on Fire.
Okay.
So Hearts on Fire is a very popular brand. They spend millions on marketing. But the cut that they use is just this exact same cut that we use called Hearts and Arrows. Mm-hmm. It was actually developed by a separate company, I think in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And so our cutters in Israel use that exact same cutting style. The stones are identical, but they're 20 or 30% more because you're paying for that brand.
That's right.
It gives it no extra value otherwise, though. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason stores do that is because diamonds are inherently not a great profit center for jewelry stores, engagement diamonds.
Right.
So they're looking for any way they can to make more money.
Absolutely.
So basically, you could take two of the exact same diamond, put it in front of someone, but one of them is 20 to 30% more than the other.
Exactly. There's literally no difference.
Yeah, the hearts and arrows cut was invented, like you said, in Japan, like in the 1970s, I think it was, and they never patented it, so anybody can use it. So we use it, they use it, but they branded it, like you said, and like 50 other jewelers are using it too. And they can call it Hearts and Arrows, which it is. And what ends up happening is, you're right, you're going to pay a premium for that. And that's where education comes in. You got to shop around, you got to ask questions, and you got to do a little research before you go out there. And that's why we're doing this show, because this is the type of information that even might be on the internet, but you're going to get two different, you're going to get both sides of it. They're going to say it's something special. You're going to read other things. You're not going to know who to trust. We'll be like that third party. We can kind of help you get you in the right direction where you need to go when you're doing the shopping for something like that. So,
right.
And not that it's not a high quality diamond. Hearts on Fire is a great quality, but you're paying for all the advertising that they're paying. The TV ads, the newspaper ads, all the magazine ads to brand it is built into the price of the diamond. Whereas for our Hearts and Arrows, we don't have to do any of that.
They can get the same diamond somewhere else.
Yeah.
For a lot less than
what
they're paying at other places.
Definitely. So what else do you have? I mean, no, that's a crazy one.
Well, that's one of my favorite ones to talk about because it's so easy to compare. One of the other ones is Forevermark. Okay. And one of the things that you'll see commonly is you'll never see a Forevermark diamond GIA certified. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because they laser etch the stone in the center of the diamond so that when you look into it, you see that diamond shape that means Forevermark.
Yep.
So if they sent that to GIA, it would come back as an I2. I3, because it's an eye visible. They forcibly engrave the culet underneath, so that you see their mark when you look into the stone. So they always use like an EGL or an IGI, and they also do that because those companies will brand the cert, so it will say a Forevermark IGI graded stone.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's. I don't know that I've ever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen one, at least under a microscope anyway. We don't really get involved in that. That's a De Beers branded diamond.
Right.
And again, same reason. De Beers is a popular name. They can attach their name to it. Somehow gives it more value. Is it even a hearts and arrows cut, or is it just like an ideal cut? Is it just a regular?
They just call it some sort of ideal cut. Yeah, they don't say exactly what it is.
They don't even say what the proportions are. So again, you're buying something. It's a brand. It sounds like a good deal. It sounds like something special. But when it comes to diamonds, there's only so many different ways you can cut them. Another source of branded diamonds that separate people from other, just so you know, I know you know this, but there are mall stores, for example, that do stones that have more than 57 facets. They'll do 100 facets, and they'll call that something special. And you'll think, wow, well, if it has more facets, it must be more brilliant. And of course, it turns out that that's not the case.
I remember someone coming in, it was a couple years ago, to sell a diamond that happened to have like 100 facets. And it's something that if we were to buy it, we can't even sell that. I mean, dealers don't want things like that. It's not the round brilliant that they're selling. So I couldn't really make an offer, and they just couldn't believe that they paid the price that they did, and I wasn't even able to really.
You're right. I mean, the only way for us to buy a diamond like that is if we buy it, we got to recut it back to what it should have been in the first place, which is a 57 facet, round brilliant cut diamond, because that's what people want to buy. And then when they put all these extra facets on it, the thing I don't like about it is it makes the sparkle look really weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't sparkle like a
normal
normal
diamond. And then when
diamond.
it comes down to recutting, I mean, you have the cost of recutting it. Yep. You're losing a ton of weight on the stone, so the stone's becoming smaller. I mean, at that point, it's usually not even worth it.
Exactly. No, it has to be a pretty good-sized stone, at least over a carat, to even make it worth it, because you'll probably end up with 3/4 of a carat when you're done recutting it and doing it right the way it should have been done the first time. So these are the types of things, again, that you have to watch out for. All these extra facets don't always necessarily mean that you're going to get a lot more brilliance. And so that's just something to, shop around and compare. And who knows? If you like it better, that's fine. But at least know what's going on.
And it's also not worth more than any other typical diamond.
Right. In a lot of cases, yeah.
And this is a perfect segue into buying jewelry on the island. Because we can go we can stay in branded diamonds. So, for example, we had a customer come in, and this company on the islands has a branded stone which has more, is it a dome shape?
I remember it's called Crown something.
Crown of Light.
Crown of Light.
We did a series of episodes, just so people know. We did a series of episodes about that on our YouTube, on Gems of Knowledge YouTube channel. And we talked to the ladies that got ripped off and the process that they went through.
Yeah.
And how that diamond, because it's like shaped like a ball.
Right.
You'll never get anything for it. No one will want to buy that.
And she paid, I think it's 3 or 4 times what a normal diamond that weight and size would have sold for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane.
Yep.
That is the epitome of a branded diamond. So people always think when they go to the islands that they're going to get a deal. And I know a lot of customers, I've had them tell me, I was going to buy an engagement ring when I was in the islands. That's not a great place because they're not looking out for you.
And don't let them tell you that it's duty-free. Well, they can tell you that it's duty-free, which is fine. It's true. You don't pay any duties in the islands when they bring the diamonds in. But guess what? They don't do that here either.
Yeah.
So they're not lying, but on the other hand, they're giving you the impression that somehow we're paying more for these same diamonds, and we're not. So, again, do your research, find out what's going on, listen to us.
I mean, listen to us because it's important. I don't think that enough people know that the islands isn't the best place to buy jewelry, that they sort of use the fact that you're having an amazing time and a great vacation and you're really enjoying yourself, and then they also give you this idea that it's so much cheaper, not just because of the duty, but just because of the difference in the monetary value of the money you're using on that island, which is a mess. It's not cheaper.
I'm pretty sure they start giving you alcoholic beverages too, loosen you up a little bit.
Of course, that's all part of the game.
And it's not just diamonds there either. I mean, all of their jewelry is. I saw something just last week that someone came in.
I think you should talk about that. That'd be great.
And it was just, it was a tanzanite bracelet that tanzanite isn't really, it's not rare like it used to be.
It never really was, to be honest with you.
The price she paid versus it was in sterling silver too.
Really?
What was that price?
I want to say it was like $10,000.
Yeah.
And what did you think it was worth? Maybe a fifth?
Well, before I didn't really want to make an offer on it right yet. We don't sell really a lot of sterling silver, so it's that piece again where.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. A $10,000 bracelet. If they're setting it in sterling silver, There's a problem right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Just, that's ridiculous. You don't send a semi-precious stone in sterling silver and charge $10,000. Spend the extra $500 and set it in gold. But why don't they do it? Because they want to make more profit.
Right.
And you don't know because you're buying a white metal. You think they may even thought it was white gold. But here's the thing. There was a show in Washington, D.C. where the reporter, same thing. It was a tanzanite piece they had bought in the islands, and it was worth 1/5 of what they paid for it. Mm-hmm. And this show finally did a show on it on a news channel, kind of like a Channel 9, a local news channel. And they got their money back. And it was the only way they got their money back because the cruise lines told them, hey, look, buyer beware. You bought it. You own it.
I can't believe they're still in business.
That's what happens when when you're all
it's a
excited.
big world out there.
Yeah, you're all excited. You're in the islands. You're not doing research.
Yeah.
You're living your dream vacation.
Yeah, you're spoiling yourself.
And these people are saying, and they're negotiating with you, and they're giving you 30 and 40% off. And you're like, I'm beating them up. I'm beating them up.
Yeah.
Right.
They marked it up 10 times. Of course you're beating them up. They're still going to make a killing.
Yeah.
I told that lady that was on the, that bought that it was a $30,000 diamond. She had spent $30,000. And I said, so what was the price on the tag? And she says, well, it's funny. There were no prices on the tag.
They just make up their own price.
They do.
As they go.
They make up a number that they think is high for you
Yeah.
based on the way you're dressed or maybe how much money they think you have. I don't know what. But there's no prices on the tags. And then they come up with a number and then they knock it down from there.
Yeah.
So, again, these are just all little tips. Look at the price tag. Let's see if they're just making it up. How'd you come up with that cost?
Even if they have it on a price tag, I mean, they're
I know.
still making it up. They're just trying to get you to buy something, and there's nothing you can do. Once you're here, what are you going to do? Like, what did there isn't much that you can really do to get your money back.
Oh, I heard it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that everything on the back of the receipt, and this is the other thing you should be aware of, is always read the back of the contract that you're signing because it'll say in her contract it said in legalese, but it meant whatever we give you for an appraisal, you can't, as the owner of this piece, use it as a way to say to us that this is what we're saying it is. We're saying basically what we're writing in the appraisal is not accurate. And yet you shouldn't rely on our appraisal to be accurate when you're buying the piece that you're buying. And it's in the contract. So they're even saying in the contract that their appraisal is no good and that you can't rely on it and come back at us and say that it's misrepresented.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And it's amazing. And you have these customers that come in, and some of them, and they come in just for repairs, and they only buy their jewelry in the islands.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the other thing. That's a really scary part.
And then their stuff falls apart, and they're like, I don't understand. I just bought it 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's, light metals, really hollowed out pieces,
Let's talk about repairs.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah. New segue. Perfect. That's
All right.
great.
Yeah.
So, and overpriced repairs. I mean, the stuff that we've been seeing lately is just out of control. We had a lady come in from a local jewelry store just 2 weeks ago. They sized her white gold ring, charged her $400.
Come on.
And did a crappy job. It was only for a half a size on a basic white gold ring. This wasn't an extravagant ring, needed a lot of extra labor. Simple size, half size up. It's actually our ring.
They sized our ring, charged her $400.
$400.
Just typically and relatively, just what do we typically charge for something like that so people understand what?
That would have been between $65 and $75.
Yep.
So it's 4 times what we charged, and we guarantee our work.
Right.
So she didn't want to go back there because of what they did. But if something were to ever happen in our repair, we would take care of it immediately. That's the norm we're getting is we're seeing these awful overcharged repairs, and then they do a terrible job.
Or they're
just turn 'em out.
with sizing, they're stretching the ring versus adding gold to it. I was sizing a ring for someone. She's like, oh, so do you just stretch it? And I'm like, no, we cut it and then add gold to it. I said, so it's not going to get thinner. The shank's not going to thin down. And she was like, oh, I thought people always just stretched it.
It's typically what
I'm
they
like,
do.
a lot of them do to save money, and they still charge you more than what places do when they add gold to it.
Yeah, to stretch your ring up 1 or 2 sizes, you just put it on a little device that stretches. It takes literally 5 minutes, maybe even less, 2 or 3 minutes. They just stretch the thing out, and that's it. And they're going to charge you $500, $400 to do that.
Right.
It takes 5 seconds. A piece
That's
of equipment's like $300. I mean, it's all profit. It's all totally profit. But the other thing that really we've been seeing a lot of is the people when you go into stores and they say that they need a repair when in fact they really don't. And this is a really serious problem.
Well, this has been driving me crazy because we have some employees that we've hired recently that are from other stores.
Yep.
And one of them was an assistant manager at a store like that. And he was saying that he would actually have to tell his staff, stop lying to customers. Because what happens is those staff are actually on commission. And on top of that, they also need to meet a certain number of repairs. So when you're in the mall, those jewelers, the people who work there, they actually need to hit a certain number of repairs every week. That's why they always want to clean your ring. They don't want your ring to look clean. They want to, this is my favorite line. This is the line they use every time, and this is how you basically know they're lying.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm too scared to put this in the cleaner for you because your diamonds are so loose they're going to fall out. That's a lie. Right there. That's the line. And then you're scared. You're like, oh my God, you can't even steam it? Well, I can't wear it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring it to somebody else. Go bring it to another jeweler and have that. Don't tell them anything. Just bring it to them and say, are any of these loose?
Yeah.
90% of the time, they're not. They're trying to get a repair out of you, and then they're going to overcharge you for it.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a quota. So I want people to understand
Right.
that. These
Right.
salespeople are not asked, they're told that they have quotas. And I have at least 3 friends that are in the jewelry industry who have worked in these stores and have lost their jobs because they wouldn't take in enough repairs every month to meet their numbers.
Yeah.
And the reason that they lost their jobs is because they really couldn't do it in good conscience, just take in something and pretend like it needs
Yeah.
work when it really didn't.
Just yesterday, I had a customer come in. She was on vacation, and she came in. She thought, well, she had a little piece of sand stuck under a prong, so it was reflecting in her diamond. She's like, what is wrong with my diamond? So I looked, I'm like, oh, it's just sand. I'll just clean it for you. And she was like, is any of my prongs, like, lifted up? And I looked, and I was like, no, not at all. But I'm like, right then and there, if a customer went into certain jewelry stores and said, is my prong lifted, they'd be like, oh, yeah, even if it's not, and
It's
use
possible.
that to take advantage of them.
It's possible. So we don't want to say it
Well,
happens every day, but what
No.
we're saying is get
It
a second
happens a lot.
opinion. Yeah. I mean, you know what? Just say, you know what? Let me just take it someplace else and let me get another opinion. And
Yeah.
every time they come to us, because they trust us, right? Our customers won't do business with them.
Right.
They come back to us and they say, you know what? I was in the mall and they told me, blah, blah, blah. Could you check it out for me? And we do. And 99% of the time, it's never
nothing.
anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You
And,
know?
and I'll have customers come in and they'll look at me and they'll, oh, can you check my ring and clean it? Sure. And I'll come back out and be like, oh, everything's super, tight. Everything, ring looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I feel so much better. I had
Yeah.
it cleaned at the mall and they were telling me that 3 of my stones were loose and it was about to fall apart. And
Yeah.
it's great. And customers will generally come in and they'll sort of be mad at us at first because it's our ring.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I just bought this. What do you mean they're loose? And then when
Yeah.
we tell them there's nothing wrong, they're like, oh, they lied to me. It's like, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in the mall, they kind of are like, oh, like, I'll just drop off my ring real quick while I'm
Right.
here. And
No, it's nice to have your rings cleaned. It's just bad when they do it.
Yeah.
And they're using it as a way to scam you. That's and that's kind of what's happening, and people need to be aware of it. So let's go on to the next one because I don't want to take up.
Oh, so let's talk about GIA diamonds. That's my other favorite thing to talk about. So GIA diamonds,
Drives you crazy too.
they're great.
Oh.
GIA diamonds are great. It
Okay.
means that you know what you're buying. You always want to have a third party tell you what you're buying. GIA has nothing to do with the value of a stone per se. So GIA doesn't buy and sell. They only grade.
Right.
So that's all they're in business for. But they wouldn't be in business if they wrote this stone is junk or this stone is bad.
yeah.
So what they have to do is they leave markings behind on the cert that tell you your stone is well cut, not well cut, and they basically are telling you need to do the research.
Yep.
And what this cert says is we're telling you whether it's good or bad. And you need to learn that on your own, kind of.
Right.
Because
Of
they
course.
wouldn't be in business if they wrote bad.
Yeah.
No one would send them diamonds.
GIA is also the company that came up with the GIA grading scale in the first place, the D to Z color, and then the clarity too. So, I mean, out of all places, they're going to know what they're talking about if they're the ones that
Yeah.
came up with the scale in the first place.
They have a lot of credibility. And
Yeah.
what happens is because they have a lot of credibility, people feel that just because a diamond has been GIA certified, that somehow makes it more that all of a sudden it becomes a valuable stone. Well, you could send a $100 diamond to GIA and they'll charge you $200 to do a certificate on it. So they'll certify any diamond. It doesn't matter what the quality is. If it's a diamond and you can
Right.
use it for jewelry, they'll certify it. So just having a GIA certificate isn't in and of itself a way of saying the stone has extra value somehow. 'Cause
No,
it
it's
really
just
doesn't.
confirming exactly what kind of stone you have there.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. So, what I've been seeing lately is, again, most jewelry stores, engagement diamonds are not profit centers. They're very, very low margin. So they need to find ways to make more margin.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to buy lesser cut stones that they can mark up to a full ideal cut price. And so what I've been seeing, and I just got an example the other day, is a customer brought in a stone and that he bought for $3,500, $4,000, and GIA gives it a grade. It was a good, fair good, which are
Low.
Horrible.
very low, very low, not good. And it was also a strong blue. Fluorescence on a colorless stone, which is unnecessary.
Yep.
And so what that store did is they charged him full price for what would have been that same color clarity as a triple X done.
Yeah.
And that's not fair to that person because
No.
they are not going to get the money back from that.
Yeah, and I think Alex's point here is that there's a lot of information that's on the cert that you have to understand what it means. And there are a lot of things that aren't on the cert or that are there, but you really wouldn't know what they mean that can
Right.
really affect the value, too.
Yeah.
So when you're out there comparing diamonds, don't just compare the color and clarity. So, for example, if you go onto Blue Nile, people love to go onto Blue Nile and look at diamonds. Oh, look at the prices. So what I always do, and I show people this because I printed it out, it's 5 pages long. I printed out their inventory of diamonds that were just 1 carat diamond, G color, SI1. They had 50 on a page, 250 diamonds that were GIA certified, G color, SI1. So supposedly all identical, exactly the same weight, all GIA certified. $12,000 was the highest price, $5,000 was the lowest price. All 250 stones are all GIA certified GSI1s, 1 carat diamonds. Now, are you telling me that there's not a difference in something else? Something else is there
Right.
that you're missing that's
Right.
affecting the value as much as 50 or 60%? You better believe it. And you
Right.
better figure out what that is, because if you don't, and we'll explain it to you if you came into our store, but
Yeah.
if you go onto Blue Nile, you just go to the bottom of the page and pick the lowest one and say, well, somebody must be giving this one away. No, they're not giving it away. There's just something else wrong with this diamond that you
Right.
just don't
the
know.
cut's probably off, or there's
course.
fluorescence.
Naturals, I mean, there's
Yeah.
all laser
Yeah.
drill holes, fracture filled. It could be anything.
Exactly.
And so if you're wondering how you should know all this information, all you need to do is go to coolschooluniversity.com.
Wow.
Which is,
I heard it was great.
it's a great website.
It's actually really fun.
And they walk
it's
you
free.
through for free how to buy a diamond, and it breaks down everything from cut, polish, symmetry, what inclusions mean, what fluorescence mean, what appraisals mean, and why those are so important. Go to coolschooluniversity.com, get all the education you need in 45 minutes. It's really fun.
And if you pass the test, you get a certificate.
Yeah.
So it's a quiz at the end, so be ready for it.
After you're done with that course, you'll know more than most.
People
Mall
working.
And you'll
jewelers.
feel more confident
Yeah.
You'll
when
feel
the
much
time
more
comes
confident.
to shop for jewelry and diamonds.
And we've been told people have taken the course, come back and say, I now I know more than the person selling me the diamond. That's how sad it is. And it is true.
It's true because most stores, when they hire an employee, they don't train them as that well. They're just an employee who's making whatever dollar amount and working on commission,
Right.
a low dollar amount working on commission. They're just like, sell, go out and sell. Where when we hire someone, it almost takes us a year to train someone fully,
Right.
to have the knowledge they need to have to help you in the best way possible.
Yep.
So for a year, I'm watching over, like our newest employee.
Yep.
For the next year, I'm watching over everything he does. I'm helping him with every sale if he needs it. And that way, it's always perfect.
Yeah.
And that way, the knowledge is
Consistent.
always right.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's a lot of information. And that's why we're going to try to have Alex come in on more of a regular basis. Not because he's my son, although he did tell me, he said I have to be on the show. No. Because he really knows what he's talking about. And you need to learn, and we all need to know, get this information out there. And he's on the front lines. Alex is out in the showroom all day long, meeting with people and hearing what's going on in the industry, hearing what customers are feeling, knowing what the other jewelry stores are doing, like, but this repair thing is just ridiculous. All these different types of things that you need to know about that he has firsthand knowledge of. So,
And I think that all of you should plug, because I don't think we ever do that, is plug your social media. So you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Truthful Jeweler, because basically I tell you all this information in those same places.
Yep.
I talk about repairs, diamond qualities. You can ask me questions. But you both also have social media that people should be following between the Gems of Knowledge social media, Bellman Jewelers.
Bellman Buying Group.
Bellman Buying Group.
Instagram, we're posting all of our estate jewelry, so
you can follow me on MySpace.
throwback.
No, you're right, and we will. You're absolutely right. We will start talking about it more and putting it up on the screen so people
yours
can see
is
it.
at Bellman's Buying Group for all our estate.
At Bellman Buying group.
At Bellman Buying Group.
Yes,
on
and it's
Instagram.
all of our estate jewelry.
And it's at David Bellman for Instagram and Facebook.
See that? And I didn't even know. Alex takes care of everything. So thank you very much for joining us on the show. I hope you learned a lot. That was the whole point. And we look forward to seeing you next week because we're going to have a fantastic interview with a very interesting, speaking of Instagram, a very interesting woman who goes around the country, or I should say around the world, looking at beautiful jewelry and posting it on Instagram. So
Dave, look who decided to show up.
Oh, there's Justin. Yep. You lost your spot, buddy. And we'll catch you next week. Bye.